Deconverted Man here. 6 days ago, I challenged escaping atheism to a debate. And, well, they haven't responded, so I'm pretty sure the answer is no. So I thought I'd make the email public and read to you what I said and what they said, and then we can talk about the email afterwards. So here we go. Deconverted Man here. I hereby challenge any/all of you that run and or are on that channel to a debate about any god/spiritual claims you might have. If you accept, then we'll proceed to talk about what question the debate would be, as well as set up the pre-debate issues like defining words and such. Let me know. Now, obviously, I censored the name of the gentleman that responded from escaping atheism because I, want to respect his privacy. So, okay, the spiritual claim is that atheism is empty and evil and harmful to everybody, and that almost any serious religion is better than atheism, and that the phrase deconvert is a bizarre, scary cult phrase, and a good reason to view atheism as a toxic hate movement. When and where do you want to debate it? In fact, I'll go even more provocative. Atheism is Satanism. That's our spiritual claim. When and where? Wow. Okay, I'm sensing just a little bit of hostility here. Maybe this person doesn't want to debate any atheists, although I'm not sure how anyone can escape atheism unless he, debates atheists and tells them why they're wrong and argues with them on that point in a honest and fair manner. But okay, maybe he had a bad day or something. Well, all I need to do is respond logically to what he has said, and I'm sure that he'll respond to me in kind. The debate cannot happen until we make sure that the pre-debate things are in order. As part of that pre-debate, we must, of course, agree to the debate question, how it's phrased, and this is negotiation dialogue. Quote, atheism is empty and evil and harmful to everyone, and almost any serious religion is better than atheism, end quote. Deconverted is scary, cult phrasing, and a good reason to view atheism as a toxic hate movement, end quote. Quote, atheism is Satanism, end quote. So my suggested changes to your debate topics. Number 1, is atheism empty, evil, and or harmful to anyone? See, dropping the later part, because the idea that any serious religion is better would be and could be part of your opening debate volley. Number 2, is atheism a toxic hate movement? And dropping the first part, as that could be part of your opening debate volley. Number 3, is atheism equal to Satanism? Or is atheism the same as Satanism? This gives both sides of the debate to be able to say yes or no to that question at hand. Else, can't really make a debate from the statement that you provided. I'd be okay with any of the 4 above reworded, but I'm open to your rewording of the above 4. Please let me know if you have changes and or are okay with the phrasing of the above. Moving on from this point, once we do agree to the debate topic, we should then move on to each of the words we're using and what they'll be defined as. It would be good to be able to agree to one definition rather than each having our own, so that the audience would not be confused and that the debate would be clear for both sides. Example, the word Satanism can be a number of things, a link to a possible definition, or a link to a different definition, or any number of possible other ideas that are out there. I have no idea what you have in mind, so if you provided a definition of this word with a relevant link to it, then I would know what you're referring to. So, by providing the terms and what they are, we can know what the other means. In some cases, there might be a question. For example, atheism in the broadest sense is the absence of belief in the existence of deities. Here's a link to the definition that agrees with that. But you might object to that and want to use the doctrine or belief that there's no God. There's a link for that. I would ask that we would use the second one from the website, which is disbelief in the existence of a supreme being or beings. Hopefully we would agree on what version or term to use. If not, then I would suggest we would label it as A1 and A2. And I would make it clear at the start before we begin to debate who's using what and how, so that the audience isn't lost and confused. Again, it's best to come to an agreement for the word definition whenever possible. As usual, atheists try to rig the game so they don't have to defend their ideology or defend their bullshit. You will defend atheism, son, the no-God hypothesis, or you're just another silly atheist liar. But, just so you know, atheism is and always has been the denial of God, the belief that there is no God. Satan is the opposite of God. God is truth. Satan is lies. God is love. Satan is hate. God is creation. Satan is destruction. The void. The denial. You have a cult's hook deep inside you and are probably not reachable. When you have the courage to examine your absurd idea that atheism is just a lack of belief and start actually questioning atheism directly, you break the cult spell. I have no further interest in playing word games. Defend your atheism or fuck off. This is also what you do, and you lie when you claim anything else. You are a thoroughly indoctrinated cultist. As an alternative, we can have a discussion. But as an ex-atheist, an escape from that mad ideology, I will continue to tell you that you're a brainwashed member of a cult who has lied to you. If you have the courage to have that conversation, let me know. But I'm not playing word games. Atheism is a cult. It is a deluded, demented cult that terminates free thought, free ideas, and free inquiry, and does nothing but spread hatred and misinformation. You can defend your cult or discuss it, but I will not be playing word games. I hope to de-brainwash you and anyone else who is willing, but can't do it if you're not willing. Last note, as I suspect I won't hear from you again. This is what I now say to every atheist who wants to debate with me. You have to answer a question for every question I answer for you, and you have to accept burden of proof for your assertions as much as I do. At this point, I won't have public conversations with atheists who will not accept the burden of proof for their beliefs and will not answer questions on the same terms they ask me questions. Not being mean about it, but religious people get put under a microscope constantly. It's as if atheists get to sit in judgment. That's not appropriate. So you get to be answering questions too. And you have to have some burden of proof for your beliefs instead of running like a coward and not defending your own beliefs. Then we could come out this thing friends and understanding better. Or you could just keep thinking I'm someone you have to defeat just because I reject atheism. Your call! So, that was the thing. Yes, I did respond to that. Again, with a logical, well-formatted response. I didn't hack. So, I get the end of that. My response 5 ago, and, responded to everything he said in a logically coherent manner, and I explained the pre-debate process a little bit more, and I try to work with him on, how we would go about debating this. And then I want to share the last thing that I said, which is the following. As I read what you have written, there is much negative words here. I'd ask you to try to not use swear terms and to try not to insult. I'd ask you to think when you were an atheist. How would you respond to someone saying what you're saying? Would you respond well? Are you treating me as you want to be treated? Have I treated you badly or insulted you? Did I call you a liar? Did I claim you were in a cult? Do you think that doing such things will help or hinder your cause? Do you think that harsh words will win over someone, or will kindness? Please think on such matters. Now, I don't think I'll ever hear from Escaping Atheism or any of its members ever. But if any of them are willing to debate, or if they're afraid to debate, perhaps we can have a information exchange dialogue, which also has rules to it that we would both have to agree to, so that it would be fair for both sides. And the rules of that discussion, that dialogue, would be agreed to by both parties. It would be negotiated so that both party gets what they most want out of the rules. You know, something like you get to speak for 10 minutes, you get to speak for 10 minutes, or you have to ask, you ask a question and then the other person has to give an answer that or try their best to give an answer. Maybe the answer is I don't know, but they have to answer it or respond in some way. You know, the questions should try to avoid being loaded or insulting sort of questions, or maybe there's no swearing allowed, things like that, right? And if both people agree to certain rules before going into the dialogue, then you'll have a far more productive and friendly dialogue. So where's all this stuff coming from? Because I've seen this before, and I'm sure I'll see it again, the idea that atheism has to mean a certain thing. I've seen that a few times. I haven't really seen the cult thing in a serious way before, and I think he is serious here. And I just don't know where all the anger is coming from. Was it the word debate that sent him off? I guess that there are still some that view that word in a negative sense, which is sad because debate is an intellectual way to argue ideas with each other. And it's really not about convincing the other side, although if they adhere to the rules of logic, they would be convinced by your argument. It's about talking to the audience, essentially, convincing them that one side or the other is better. Now, I read his emails in my humorous style with, the inflections I think that were embedded in the words. So he or others from that channel might watch this video, but I doubt it, and say, oh, see, it's just another atheist making fun of us, blah, wah, wah. And there's also this persecution complex of, we're under a microscope. Really, come on, religion's had its ways for years and years and years. But yeah, you know what? Your claims are going to be examined just like anyone else's. You're not going to be treated any special way. And is atheism done that too? Absolutely. There's all these videos out there, questions atheists have to answer, things like this. I always kind of wonder why. What's the point? Like, you can construct a question that somebody can't answer. Theists typically cannot answer what God is made out of in a coherent manner. What would God be made out of? Spirit? Well, what's spirit made out of? Soul? What's soul made out of? God's made out of God. I've heard that answer. None of those are really coherent answers, and I would also ask how you know, but nonetheless, I can come up with questions you can't answer. What's the point? If you're really trying to gain information, that's one thing. But usually these videos are trying to make some sort of point. Like, you can't answer these questions, so that means I'm right. But that's not how debate functions. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're really, really angry. And it seems like this guy is very angry. Why? I don't know. If I was to guess, I would guess that it causes some sort of cognitive dissonance to have his views challenged. If he really sincerely, truly believes that atheism is this denial of God, which wouldn't make sense because of a number of reasons, but nonetheless, then he's basically saying, no, you have to agree to this or we'll never even have a discussion. So I'm going to lock out all the people that will not agree to this thing. Fine. Then belief in God is the belief in the flying spaghetti monster, and until you agree with my definition of that, then you're locked out. See, both people can do that, and then no discussion can be had. So at least agree to let them use their definition, and you use yours. At least be able to do that. But that didn't happen. How is one supposed to escape atheism if they don't actually give you any reason to escape it? Nowhere on the channel did I see any arguments for God, any proof offered, anything like that. It is hangouts and a couple of video responses to Noel, response to Amazing Atheist, and then really that's it. There's nothing there to make me want to escape atheism. There's no argument that atheism's a cult. There's no argument that it's an ideology. There's no argument that it's Satanism. None of that's there on the channel. So if those are the points that he or others on that channel and website, they actually have a website for this as well, if that's what they want to make as points, then make those points. Make an argument for them. I don't see that. So here was an opportunity for him to have a platform to debate on. Nothing. No response. I'm waiting. If you want to debate, still here. And I even said, okay, you want to do a conversation? We can do that as an information exchange dialogue. That's the only way I'll do it. Because we have to have rules. We have to agree to those rules. That way we have a civil conversation. Because given what I've read, otherwise, if I don't have any rules, you're going to go flying off and yelling at me and talking over me, and it's going to do nobody any good. It's going to make you look more foolish or more insincere or more angry. And this is another kind of offshoot point. I don't know that he's a Christian. I'm not going to assume that. But when I was a Christian, I knew that it was really important to me to be very kind to atheists and not to be angry at them, because I wanted to represent Christ. So I wanted to be the best me that I could be. And so when I see theists swear and name call atheists, it's just a big giant turnoff. I'm like, you're not even really a good Christian, are you? Of course, if they're not a Christian, maybe they have a different standard, but, you know, then I'd have to look at that religion and see what its standards are. Anyways, I thought you'd get an interesting something out of this video. If you are wanting to look at Escape from Atheism, his channel's in the bottom. I'll link to a Noel video, I guess, even though he's never shouted me out. Blah. Wait, maybe he did and I forgot. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. Time to ramble on endlessly as I try to find my Patreon list so I can thank all my Patreons in order here. Where's the list? Oh, it's not on this desktop. It's on the other one. Well, thanks to all the patrons. I don't know any of your names because it's not on my desktop. But if you become my Patreon, you can also have me forget your name. Yay! I'll see you next video. You know what I mean. You don't know what I... You know what? I'm just going to end this video.